Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for logging in and joining us back. And we are thrilled to kick off day 2 of the International Conference on Technology, Innovations, and Management 2025. My name is Reza Tafakoli from BINUS University, and it is my pleasure to be sharing these wonderful sessions with you as your host. Firstly, I would like to warmly welcome our distinguished guest, our keynote speaker from BINUS University, Professor Dr. Anita Maharani, SEMM CPAS, our BINUSian leaders, and warmest welcome to all invitees, faculty members, students, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you had an insightful day yesterday, and we are now ready for our final plenary sessions. And before we begin the sessions, allow me to remind all of participants to take attendance on the given link, and it's already shared by our committee at the chat box. Don't forget to keep your camera on and your microphone off during the sessions. Now, it is a pleasure to introduce our third and final keynote speaker, an esteemed figure within BINUS University, with a specializations in human capital management and organizational behavior. Please join me in welcoming Professor Dr. Anita Maharani, SEMM CPAS from BINUS University. And also, the sessions will be moderated by Dr. Joyce Yulinda Luke. Good morning, Professor Anita, and good morning, Ibu Dr. Joyce.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Bu Joyce. Morning, Bu Reza.
Good morning, Prof. Anita. Good morning, Bu Lisa.
All right. Well, then the screen and time is yours.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the International Conference on Technology, Innovation, and Management, or ICTIM 2025, hosted by BINUS Online. My name is Joyce Yulinda Luca, and I'm honored to serving as your moderator for today's plenary session. Excellencies, distinguished speakers, presenters, ladies and gentlemen, for decades, research has lived in a separate room. The R&D lab, the university, the quarterly market reports. It was something we consume, not something that was central to our core strategy. But that era is over. The question for us today is not if research impacts business policy, but how we can possibly make smart decisions without it. In a world of rapid change and overwhelming data, intuition alone is a liability. Today, we'll explore how deep strategy research is becoming the very engine of resilient and forward-thinking business policy. To guide us through this story of transformation, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Professor Dr. Anita Maharani, SEMM CPAS, from BINUS Business School, BINUS University, Indonesia. She is a scientist in the field of human capital management and organizational behavior and serves as a head of the regular program at BINUS Business School. Her expertise includes human resource management, leadership, and talent development, with a particular focus on the power of storytelling as a strategic tool in building organizational effectiveness and leadership development. Today, she will give his seminal work entitled Research, How Will It Impact Business Policy, in the keynote speech at the second day of plenary ICTIM 2025. And before Prof. Anita begins, ladies and gentlemen, let me inform all of us that the keynote speech today will last for 25 minutes, and after that, we will proceed to Q&A session for about 10 minutes. So without further ado, let's welcome Professor Dr. Anita Maharani, SEMM CPAS, to deliver his keynote speech. Prof. Anita, the time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Bu Joyce. Thank you. And yeah, it's a very nice morning, Sunday morning, to present. Probably this is my Yeah, in my humble opinion, actually, about what probably can we, I mean, we can do today. I mean, this in this event. Okay. I guess the material is not quite some. I mean, it's not a long material for us to listen because again, we would like to hear more from you, the researchers, that joining this event. So my title is research or how it will impact business policy. Well, I have this the idea that made me share this thought is about because well, actually I'm from BINUS Business School master program, and most of the day we deal with issues that showing us about how complex is business, and it's not just about uh, what we see in the media or what we think it is because of the technology that probably most of us know about the issues of AI, sort of. I mean, sort of that issues. It's not just it. That's why I think that probably by this event, through this event, sorry, about through this event, each team, we can actually exercise our, our findings through this, discussions or probably collaborations in the future. So the complex situations is here. Well, I quoted from the Harvard Business article in 2019. They actually launched an article titled Leading for Today and Tomorrow Capabilities for a Changing World. What I found from that article is quite interesting. They mention about smart companies, actually those who can, show the capability on how to navigate complexities from understanding present possibilities around them. I mean, in the 360 overview. So it's not just about how they deal with their core competencies or how they manage their people, but they see also how they survive with surroundings, especially because there are so many things that they cannot control, but they can manage it by mitigating it through some policies. Okay, now decision making is actually for us is about art, but I believe this is also a series of thinking where I quoted it from an article from Pacheco Velasquez in 2023. Sorry, they once studied the relationship between business decision making and complex thinking. So probably some of us know and understand about the concept of system thinking. Well, this is actually applied to this, to this research, the Patricios and Velasquez research. They mentioned about the possibility of, not possibility, but the urgency of applying that system thinking more frequent in dealing with complex problem solving. And that research actually found out that business environment constantly changing. That is very logic, but it requires business leaders to be able to cope with various new situations. So you probably uh, it is quite common for us to hear about the word agility, adaptability, but it's actually not just it, but also to cope with various new situations. So we our our competencies of dealing things flexibility in flexible ways is also important. So that's is actually the coping mechanism of people or from from that position, the business leaders to various new situations is like that. And also in that article, they also note research from Almeida and Simus in 2029, where they found out that there are like seven what is that activities that and probably respond that can be valuable for business leader to cope with that issue, the new situations that happens a lot in business. The learning to learn skills. So every business leaders need to learn new skills all the time. Openness to new ideas that comes from what is that, the employees. Well, some of you probably found out from Instagram of Harvard Business Review. There's a one expert saying that now employees are not just happy to have reward, but also being listened. That's important. That's why business leader they need to open to new ideas, but not from other not from the competitors, but from their employees. Probably there's insights there. I mean, there's new insights there that can, help the business leader to form up a new policy and bring up, new possibility for their business. The third thing is critical thinking. Although they are business leaders, although some of us deal with business, but critical thinking is something that needs to be sharpened all the time. Also, problem solving. That's why this is a part of exercising all the time. Okay, so information search, selection, we need to be very careful on selecting information that probably with, not, align with our core competences or making us like easily react is also important. Reasoning for complexity is also important, and also self-direction. And the complex thinking competencies, you probably want to know, what are they? Well, actually, you can find it here. There are four, at least, complex thinking competencies. And one of it is actually a part of our exercise today in ICTIM. Okay, what is complex thinking anyway? It's the competency acquired by individuals, that will be us, and allows us to develop a holistic visions of the world. So through this, by doing research, actually, that's probably the scientific thinking, you're actually helping yourself to develop your point of view. To have a holistic view about the world. So we are not just, seeing things from our part, but also trying to be, to put ourselves in other shoes, So in other way, we are trying to making a great decisions, not because our point of view, but also relating with many aspects in our environment. Okay, the scientific thinking, that's probably the thing that I would like to focus now, is the opportunity for us to explore and propose solutions. We will see a lot of findings from everyone that presenting their research from yesterday to today. And probably by the end of their presentation, we will see and hear about their proposed solutions. But I'm afraid that there will be something that only, mentioned in the papers. So we need some area. We need some channels to, to promote our findings. Why? Because if not, there will never be solutions in practical. But in fact, what you did is actually trying to elaborate factors that that could be, something that leads to, a solution, a business solutions in the, and that would be very valuable for business anyway. So when you start your research, always start with curiosity, right? Although some of us, I know that probably doing research is for formality, yeah. But I guess research without curiosity is not a research, because you have to deep dive to your findings. You have to be able to see the possibility of your findings throughout elaborating some findings before you and see what happens in the current states. That's the meaning of curiosity. So scientific thinking is actually something that relate a lot with critical thinking. And those two are the it's the intellectual processes that being considered as keys in the basic and comprehensive educations of citizens. That's actually the research finding from Garcia Carmona in 2023. But I also confirm that, because as you may see here in the visual, in the figure, sometimes we blame things. But we are not trying to find the solutions and asking why. So the why is important in today's issue. Why and how is the most two important questions that we need to highlight in this situations. Okay, and I would try to. I probably need to share this. Why I proposed that two words, the how and why, because I found out during my experience like few days ago, we visit two different company. One is the manufacturing company, the other one is service company. And this is actually helping me a lot on aligning that issue. I mean, how that curiosity actually leads me to, uh, to an idea of researching something. Researching meaning not just writing, but also trying to explore what happened there. Okay, so this is just a preview on what I found with my team yesterday, few days ago, within those two industry, the manufacturing and the service. The issue quite different. From the manufacturing, we found that the company face production line efficiency challenges, and the service company, they try to increase customer loyalty. Through the old perspective, if the manufacturing facing that issue, they probably will try to answer it through what? Through optimization and supply chain effort. But on the other hand, the new perspective tells a different thing. The new perspective in manufacturing comes up with possibility on how
Michelle, you're
and
basically
technology
highlighting that in
collaborate.
manufacturing, the main
It's a
issue is all about
humanized
production
digital
line efficiency.
transformation
They're trying to solve it through
policy.
optimization and
Sorry,
supply
And
chain
would you
improvements.
please
Meanwhile, in a service context,
mute?
it's more about boosting customer loyalty. So the approaches differ. Manufacturing focuses on efficiency and supply.
okay, and if it's a service, then the issue would if this the issue is increasing customer loyalty using the old perspective, that would be offering competitive interest. But the new perspective is not about offering it because it would just raise up another problem, the competitions, that it's probably unfair. And you might see that like years ago where all banking company tried to offer similar thing, and the customer just becoming very, they become confused because each of that service, they share no differences between one another. But if you are using new perspective, so what the service try to offer to the customer is about seamless digital experience and data security, because it's the needs that comes from the customer. So what I'm trying to share here is about how company or industry shifting from old perspective to new perspective. However, we probably learned this from the best one, right? From those who can practice it earlier. But it doesn't mean that other companies that works in a similar sector cannot learn from the previous one. So that's our part as researcher, to share about the findings from the best from the best company that already practice it or implement it, so that they can become learning that can be learned by the other company that probably not yet you know uh, in getting to that stage yet, but they fear about becoming that in that issue. So shifting from old perspective to new perspectives is really important. That's why we need to have a 360 degrees acceptance. Because why? This is dynamic. We no longer see it as a supply demand function, but also is there any future offering for a customer or clients that can be offered by business. And again, because my interest is in human resources, human and its complex behavior exists in business, and we cannot avoid it. So we need to have a good implementation policy implementation that can manage well human issues along with technologies. Why technologies? Because we are dealing with it right now, right? I do think that we can easily find research uh, that stating about human AI collaboration, human digital adoptions. There's a lot of research highlighting that two keywords, but it's actually what to do next is about proficiency. So my note, the third note is about we have to have a belief on proficiency. Is no longer readiness or awareness, because readiness awareness is so yesterday. Now it's about proficiency. Because why? We have to be part of it, be part of the new technology. And that's why human is also important to be managed, not because just they have that complex behavior, but how they have, they be ready to show their proficiency about many things, especially technology. And about the research, today is the new era of research. Well, I probably would show you, would share about two findings. This is actually, I found it from a website that try to, involve public to give a feedback about their findings. First from the OECD, and second is from ACSB. Well, currently our program, BINUS Business School, is accredited with ACSB, and we are now looking forward to have that research that can impact the society, especially the industry, because we are business school, right? And we have the guidance. The guidance actually, formulated in one a book of, impact of research as a guide for business school. And you probably don't need to read all along about that book, but I just want to share that inside that guide, we can find three three notes, yeah, from that guidance. The first of, what we can do as researcher is that we have to define research expectations. We can no longer research something that's really common, but something that is really, urgent for the business, because it can also help us to explore new things, explore new possibility, explore new collaboration. And number two is about exploring possible measures. That's actually our strengthens. That's what be our strength, to launch measurements for business so that they can use it to measure whether they are now in a perfect stage of business or not yet, and how to fill in the gaps. That's our part, and that can be, our exercise to, to explore whether our knowledge is actually helpful for the business. And the number three is about using and communicating what was learned, and that would be your part in attending this event, ICTIM. Because why? Because communicating of what you have found is actually important for disseminating your knowledge to others. Okay, I'm probably going to, stop quite soon about my slide. Well, ICTIM, I guess, is a golden bridge, because I see this as a platform where the ivory towers of research meet business practice. And this is also the opportunity for all of you who who already conduct research and wrote your research, got a review from reviewers, and presenting your findings today to demonstrate the academic studies aren't just a report gathering dust, but also as a guidance for business to formulate their policy. Don't forget to share in your social media your findings, not just your pictures. And the third one is about the expected measurable impacts, because I guess all of the researchers here use so many instruments that can be valuable as well for the industry, but I hardly see researcher try to register the measurement so that it can be, valuable, not just only for the researcher, but also for the institutions. So I hope that this can be uh, uh, something that can be workable. This can be valuable, yeah, for company strategy, operations, and the probably the most issuing the most important issue is about sustainability. And the call to action. First, research with context, interdisciplinary collaboration, and also the actionable output. Thank you, Bu Joyce. I'll probably finish here, and I'll let this presenter back to you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Anita, for your insightful presentations. We truly appreciate your expertise and contributions, ma'am. Okay, so now we have 10 minutes for Q&A session. Please raise your hand while you are asking questions and also mention your name as well as your faculty or your field of study, your affiliation for the benefit for everyone in this room. So for the first part, we are now open for 2 questions from the online participants. You may put your questions on the chat box or even you can put a button, yeah, and then raise your questions directly. Okay, so now we are open for 2 questions. Yes. Is there any questions from the audience? Maybe the committee can help us. No? Not yet? Okay. So while waiting for some questions from the audience, let me try to ask my questions to Prof. Anita. Prof, if the research is so critical, why do so many organizations still treat it as a cost to be minimized rather than a strategic capability to be invested in?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I've also learned this from the companies that we visit and we work with, because they still consider research as something that need longitudinal effort. So it's not cheap. It's pricey anyway, to collect data, to disseminate. That needs investment, but they never measure it as something that really helps them to build up their core competencies, not just because they have that core competence in business, but also to predict what can they do in the future, what they can develop in the future with their people, with the technology, with their business. So I guess this is something that we as a university or we as the researcher need to help in the industry to find out about this. Well, I guess in our program, and also in BINUS actually, we collaborate with many industry that's helping us to what is that? Expose our knowledge to them and let them, decide whether they are going to involve us or not. That's what change their mindset about research is about cost, research is about inefficient things. However, they have the research and development. Now, why not collaborating with us in the university? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your inspiring answers, Miss. And then now I still open for questions from the floor. Is there any questions? Yeah. Still no questions from the floor, from the audience? Or probably from the committee, would you like to ask questions? Is there any questions from the committee? Oh, okay. So I still have one more questions, Miss. With the overwhelming amount of data available today, how do we shift from simply having more information to actually building more agile and confident decision-making policies for the impactful research?
Thank you very much. Well, actually, this is not part of my expertise, but I believe that some of you already had that expertise about data analytics, where we can use data only for our purpose. So we don't need to have lots of data, dozens of data that can, we can use for our business. Probably we need only few of them. And that's probably the part of that expertise, the data analytics, because I know that there are 3, if I'm not mistaken, predictive, prescriptive, I forgot the last one. So that's why if it's overwhelming because you don't know how to use data. So if you can use it only for your purpose, data is no longer overwhelming, but it's also it will be very impactful for your business. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, and then now we have a questions, Prof. Anita. Let me read it for you from the chat. I think from Pak Sabar. Wait, yeah. Prof. Anita, thank you for the insight. I'm just thinking, how can discipline with fundamentally different assumptions about truth, evidence, and method produce a single accepted scientific finding without one discipline dominating or distorting the others? Probably asking about your opinion or comments on this, Miss.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sabar, and thank you very much for your questions. I guess we all being trapped with this issue all the time. In my humble perspective, I mean, in my humble opinion, actually, uh, we always try to highlight our expertise. That is very normal, that's very common for us to, to practice it. But if we can collaborate more and we try to communicate well within our, backgrounds, knowledge, that would be quite helpful for us to lower down our ego. This is about ego, actually. I believe this is
Mhm.
about egos, about single accepted scientific findings. I do agree with you because I also been trapped in this issue all the time. So how about if we try to balance it from a 360 perspective, because we have to try to start with the issue, and that will be the probably helping us lowering that ego because we start from the issue first, not from our disciplines. Thank you very much, Pak Sabar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Anita, for the answers. But we still have one more question, Miss. Okay, so this is probably the questions also from the committee. Yes, from Miss Reza. Professor Anita, in your view, how does the process of delivering research findings influence the formulation and adaptation of business policies within organizations?
Thank you very much. We actually need help. I mean, because there's a large gap between academic and industry, because industry doesn't know us, because they won't read our journals, they won't read our articles. They need we need channels to help us, reach them. So what we need to do is that we have to start with the issue first. First of all, I think this is probably also my homework to start writing research because of what the business facing right now. It would probably quite an old-fashioned research by journals, but it's not an old-fashioned issue from the industry. If you like to be heard by industry, then you have to start with them first. Then you start writing, not in the opposite way of doing research. But that's for you if you like to be known in industry. But if you just want to become a researcher, then it's your way to express everything that you found from previous findings. That's very normal as well. It's acceptable, but it will be different treatment. Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you, Prof. Anita. And I still see that there are two questions from the audience. The first is from Mr. Abdullah. What challenge do organization face when translating research findings into actionable policies?
Thank you so much. The problem is that researcher always use academic words that is not easily to digest by industry. They use different words. They use different key terms. But sorry to say this, but in our program, we often find out that the research team that proposed by our students is what we call it, yeah. Uh, they translate issue in academic in different way. So sometimes there's a contradict arguments. Will be arguments between academicians and our students that come from practitioners. So this is actually our part. If you are now trying to become a known researcher, a researcher that is known by industry, to formulate words that industry able to digest well, but also acceptable in the academic discussion. So I guess what we need to do is to collaborate more with the industry to formulate that words. I think that's my comment about this.
Yes, and apology, Miss. We still have two
It's
questions.
okay. Yeah, it's okay. Very nice
Seems
to
that
hear.
they are really interested with your presentations. Okay, so now it's from Pak Denny, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
For your perspectives, how can research be positioned as a strategic priority for companies while also being pursued more seriously and rigorously by academics?
Thank you very much, Pak Denny. It's really interesting question. And it's also my homework as well with my team, with our team actually in BBS. We produce lots of thesis. I mean, like 4.5 months. We did produce many findings from our students, right? That can be an academic work, right? We just produce words and words and words. But if you ask, how can that be positioned as strategic priority? So we have to start first from the needs from the companies and start to write down because of their questions, not because our perspective that this probably interesting research that we can work on, so on. So first of all, probably we need to shift our mindset from only, this is also to respond Mr. Fauzi's questions.
Yes.
Um, this We need to shift our mindset from just working from our perspective to something that probably interesting for others. Probably I will just give you an example. If s- some of you know about hair, and we
Mhm.
always quote the name all the time in our research as part of our methodological approach, we quote this person a lot about samples, about how to work with the PLS and so on. And what you can see is that the work is actually aligned from the first work to this later work. If you like to become here, then you have to be very focused on one thing. Okay, so it's okay if
Mhm.
your work is only in a paper, but
Mhm.
impactful because everyone knows you because you're an expert in that one. One field, yeah, or knowledge. But if you like to become popular with your findings, then you have to become like Adam Grant. If you like to know him, he's a professor in organizational behavior from a distinguished university in US. He's always follow what happens in the society and very light. The discussions are very light. So if you like to be like Adam Grant, then try to be very light on saying things and try to promote your findings in social media. But if you like to be focused, you only want to write papers that comes from your idealism, it's okay. But be focused and will be known as an expert on it. Thank you very much anyway.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Anita. And the last questions, Prof. Anita, from Anissa. How important is collaboration between researchers and decision makers in shaping effective business policy?
Thank you, Ibu Anissa. So if you can collaborate with industry, you have the assurance, you have the possibility to be known by them. And industry usually very, how do you call it? Yeah, fanatic to one person. So if they count you as an expert from research area, they will always count you to be part of their strategic, what is that strategic decision making, strategic formulation, and so on. So collaborate more to them, to industry helps you a lot to exercising your findings that probably just based on paper to be more practical, yeah, for the industry.
Okay, yeah. Pardon me, Miss Anita. There's still one questions from Pak Yulis Deni. Interesting, Prof, considering that academic success is largely driven by publication requirements. What strategies can be adopted to encourage academics to better align their research with industry needs while maintaining the integrity of scientific publication?
One thing for sure, Pak Denny, I probably would like to suggest one thing, and also would be my homework because I did that. I mean, like few years ago, I registered my measurement to BINUS as intellectual property, and until now, it's not yet becoming. I still cannot monetize it, but I have that intellectual property rights, right, from that measurement. But if you'd like to exercise, this alignment between research with industry needs, then the measurement should start with the industry needs. I remember like 5 years ago, I believe that Prof. Firdaus Alamsyah and also Bapak Dr. Aryono Margiono formulate a measurement that actually derive from industry. By that time, they involve Astra. They work for Astra. Um, how do you call it? Yeah, to measure about organizational agility. So they formulate the measurement based on what the company did all the time, and they try to explore it by collaborating it with academic sound measurement. And what they found is that between what happened in Astra using that custom developed measurement with what the academic measurement did, or for years, is actually aligned, but they use different words. So I guess to encourage academics to better align their research industry is about having that measurement readable for the industry and also for academic academic purpose. And for the integrity of scientific publication, we also need to be able to, formulate the fundamental basis of conceptual. Thank you very much for your question.
Yeah, but so thanks for the insight, Rob, especially for adjust the measurement of research output from Mark David.
Thank you.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, since we are almost at the end of the session, so first of all, let's us give a big applause to Prof. Anita for sharing his brilliant presentations and also for answering with an excellent answers. Thank you also for the audience for your engaging questions. And now we are come to the end of these sessions. But before we end this session, I'd like to sum up some key points to our final keynote sessions today with Prof. Anita. So as we live here today, let's move beyond the old nation of research as a mere report. Let's champion it as the foundation of every smart decisions we make. The future of business will not be won by those who simply have data, but by those who dare to truly understand it. Let's be the leaders who build our policies not on gut feelings alone, but on undeniable insights. Thank you, Prof. Anita, and also all the audience. That's the end of our keynote talk today. Thank you. Now I leave it back to the MC for today's.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Anita.
All right, thank you, Prof. Anita, for sharing this fascinating insight, and thank you for Ibu Dr. Choice to moderate the sessions. Before we are moving to the next agenda, let us take group of pictures together. So we invite all participants to keep your camera on and open your camera and see the beautiful smiles at this Sunday morning. And the committee will help me to take the picture for us. All right, so we do have like some screen on the Zoom. Let us take some pictures together.
Sure, there is a three page here, so I will count from page 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, page 2, 1, 2, 3. And the last page, who don't active the camera. Okay. Okay, great. Back to Miss Reza, please.
All right, thank you. Mr. Reagan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with the conclusion of our keynote sessions, we now transitions back to the in-depth discussions. Please proceed immediately to your designated virtual links for parallel online sessions. And the link sessions will be starting at 10:30. So you still have time to prepare your material and your device at your home or everywhere you are. So we do have the informations at the chat box of the Zoom's links that you will be present your paper. All right. So thank you, Prof. Anita. Thank you, Ibu Dr. Joyce. And thank you
Thank you
for
so
all
much.
participants. Please proceed to the parallel online sessions based on your email and informations that stated last night. And don't forget to come back for closing after all parallel sessions is finished. Thank you, everyone. See you on the parallel online sessions and see you on closing ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Prof.
Thank
Anita.
you, Prof.
Thank you.
Anita.
Thank you.
Thank you.